Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 211 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we are talking all about how to make 2021 or the next year or wherever you are in the future listening to this, how to make your next year amazing when it comes to your digital marketing. So, we are going to jump into this. I want to mention a few things before we begin. First of all, I want to mention that if you haven't done so already, you should totally join the Veterinary Marketing Ads Workshop. If you are listening to this anytime in the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021, this is a perfect time for you because you can access it completely free. This is a 10-week workshop where I'm going to dive into all of the fundamentals that you really need to know so that you're able to get the most out of your paid advertising. If you're thinking of running any kind of paid ads, or if you're already running paid ads, it doesn't matter if you want to do it yourself or if you have somebody doing it for you, this is going to be extremely helpful, extremely beneficial. During the workshop, you can listen and engage with us anytime for free. If you'd like to get lifetime access to all the recordings, it's only $47. And it's been made possible by our partner and our sponsor for this episode. We have two websites by Brad Haven, Used Vet Equipment and NewVetEquipment.com. UsedVetEquipment.com has been around for 8 years now. UsedVetEquipment.com has been helping vets buy and sell used equipment. You can save money when you buy used veterinary equipment. They have everything from cages, kennels, pumps, x-ray equipment, lasers, ultrasound, dental equipment, surgery equipment, lab equipment from Abaxis, IDEX, and Heska. They also have tables, tubs, and sinks. Do you have anything that you're looking to sell? At usedvetequipment.com, they bring the buyer and seller together. And also, if you're looking for new veterinary equipment with amazing warranties, check out newvetequipment.com, where they show you the price up front. Everything from digital x-ray equipment, dental x-ray equipment, ultrasound equipment, LED surgery tables, LED lighting, surgery tables, full-size autoclaves. When you go to newvetequipment.com, you will clearly see the prices on every item for sale. Also, check out the warranty so that you buy without regret. At newvetequipment.com, we show you the price and give you a great warranty. All right, and as always, be sure to join the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook group. If you have any questions, comments, or need help with anything, that is a great place to go. So let's jump into this. 2020 has been a crazy year. Everybody knows that. Most practices have been really busy, but I think that we're probably have some big changes in store, especially when it comes to the economy, when it comes to your services, your practice, your clients, all kinds of things. You need to be really proactive here. So how do we get the most out of our marketing? I think there's 5 pretty simple things that you can do. Number 1 thing that I think you really need to do is to collect and compile all of your marketing data. I think if you sit down and you look at things, especially if your marketing has been kind of like start and stop, or if you've been consistent, take a minute to reflect and collect and compile data. What did you do? What did you set out to do intentionally? What did you do maybe without so much thought? What is it that you thought was a success right off the top of your head? What is it that you thought was not a success right off the top of your head? What is it that you can do? Was there anything that you tried and maybe you weren't sure that it was successful? If you think back and you look at all the things, whether it was content pieces that worked really well, topics that worked really well, topics that got engagements, posts that got engagements, we really need to collect all of those and put them in one place so that we can see them. I think going through your Facebook Insights, going through your Google Analytics, going through any kind of dashboards that you've created, this is going to be really helpful. It's going to give you the ability to take a look at everything next to each other. And I think, too, a lot of times we're missing context of looking at things next to each other to see really what was successful and what wasn't successful, because when we look at things individually, we just don't get the kind of reference and baseline from other things. So take a look, compile, and collect everything. Now, once you have that compiled and collected, it is time to analyze everything. So we need to really think about a few things. I think thinking about your marketing through the lens of what drove lots of clients, What did clients talk about? What did clients engage with? What were the things that made a difference when it came to your marketing, whether it's social, whether it's email, whether it's offers that you put out. And this is going to really depend on you and your practice. But what are the things that actually worked? And what are the things that didn't work? Why did they work? Why did they not work? What are the patterns that you can see? Especially with awareness posts, I see a lot of practices last year doing posts that got a ton of engagement that were things where you were asking things about the pet owner, right? Where you're making it about them, not about you necessarily. So it's really, really important to analyze things and see what worked well. If you have things compiled in a place where you can take a look, and especially if you're doing things inside of the Facebook Creator Studio, you can take a look at all of the posts. You can see which ones had paid engagement, which ones had organic engagement. What was your CPMs on things? What was, there's just so much insight that you can pull from just taking, I'd say, set yourself 30 minutes to an hour and really go through it in each platform that you spent time on. So many times we go through, we do, different marketing activities, but we don't take the time to pause and reflect on what actually worked, what didn't work, why it worked, how we can apply this to other ideas in our marketing and in our practice. And so that analysis process is really, really important to do. And I think it's one that many practices and people are just skipping because you're so busy. But really, it's incredibly important. So once we have analyzed that, what is the 20% that drove the 80%? And I think especially as practices are kind of taking more and more, they just are overwhelmed, right? And so what are the things that are really pushing the needle for us in our practice that we can invest in? Because even if you're not running paid ads, even if you're not like doing Google ads or things like that, anytime you're creating content or creating emails or creating text message marketing or updating blog posts, those kind of things, that takes time and effort. And you only have, that's even more limited than cash, right? You can't get your time back. So it's really, really important to see what were the things that actually did the work. And so go through the 80-20 model, right? Where 80% of the results are typically generated by 20% of the activity. If we cut off the rest of that 80% of activity and reinvest into the 20% of things that are working, what would that look like? So here we're just looking for things to eliminate. So maybe you did email marketing, it was really effective, but you didn't do that much of it. Maybe you did Facebook marketing and it wasn't effective. Maybe you did Google AdWords and it was effective. Whatever it is for your practice, you need to make sure that the activity that you're doing lines up with the goals and the results that you have so that you can hopefully eliminate things that are time wasters, that are energy wasters, and reinvest into the things that are working. So now that you kind of have a better context for things and how things are going, I think that you could see how it went over the year. And I know that last year was pretty weird for a lot of people, so it's kind of hard to say like, oh, we're going to recreate that, especially when you had severe lockdowns happening in March and there's so much uncertainty out there. But, kind of moving forward, especially with, this new world that we live in, what are the kinds of targets that you want to be reaching for your practice? And how can you, what would that look like if you were being successful in 2021? What were the numbers that you need to hit? Really get clear about the targets that you're setting so that will inform the next steps. But I think targets are really, really important. So what kind of clients do you want to have coming in the door? It's really, really important. What kind of clients do you not want coming in the door? If you had the ability to only work with your dream clients, what would that look like? If you had the ability to do specific procedures or more of a specific procedure or less of certain kinds of procedures, right? If you absolutely can't stand from an emotional standpoint doing euthanasia, right? How can you eliminate that from your practice? Or if you really feel that that's a special and important part of your practice and you like to be the person helping these families navigate through that tough time, then maybe you want to do more euthanasia in your practice. Or maybe you're doing mobile euthanasia or, whatever it is for your practice. What are these targets going to be. And we need to set these targets so that we can identify clearly if we're going to be successful or if we're not going to be successful, because that's really, really important, right? So what is it that success looks like for you in your practice? And then set those targets so that you can know if you're going to be successful. I go about like this. I made this analogy today in the training that we did for the veterinary marketing ads workshop. If you don't have a target for your ads, it's like hiring somebody and saying, okay, we're just going to let them do whatever they want to do in their practice, right? You wouldn't hire somebody and not give them a job description. So creating ads or creating any kind of marketing without having a target and a plan is basically the equivalent of that. You need to consider that your marketing is communication at scale with your clients and attracting your potential clients at scale automatically. It's like having a person out there on the corner waving a sign for your practice without having to hire a new employee. And so if you don't have targets, you're setting yourself up for failure, or at best case, you're just going to get lucky and you're going to not have to, it's going to work, but you're not going to know it's working. Right, and that's the best case. The worst case is that you're throwing money away like crazy, and that's just not helpful. So you need to set targets. And then once you have those targets, we need to create the plan and the framework around it. So, let's say you want to do more dentals this year in dental month. What does that look like? Okay, we're going to start content 4 weeks out for that. We're going to schedule these posts. We're going to set aside this time for these live videos. We're going to put these pieces of content out there. And if you set the targets and then fill in with a framework of here's how we're going to get to this number and here's what we got to do, and obviously you're going to make adjustments as you go, but this is going to help you to get where you want to be. And I find that doing things like this on a quarterly basis or an annual basis, probably quarterly if you're really, really into investing into marketing for your practice, but annually if you're just trying to get it done and just trying to fit it in, it really helps to get this kind of work done though. So once you have that set up, you fill in the framework in each of these places and then you execute on that plan. But if you don't take time to see what works and what doesn't, you're just guessing, and it's kind of like going to the roulette tables and betting on black, hoping that it pays off. So make sure that you create the plans, the framework, and then begin to execute on that. If you need help with any of these things, please head on over to the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook page. Happy to help, happy to offer any advice. Again, thank you so much for listening. If you ever have any questions, comments, or need help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, be sure to head on over to the Veterinary Marketing Ads Workshop, and we'll see you inside that. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.